Ricky Williams takes the high road. That's a Sports Illustrated Films production. You can read the full story on SI.com/Ricky. Poster boy for the NFL's battle against marijuana. Ricky Williams takes the high road. It's an in-depth look at Ricky's life 5 years after the end of his NFL career. Ricky joining us from the Bahamas, the former Texas Heisman Trophy winner, Miami Dolphin, great rush for 10,000 yards. Are you staying in shape? How good a shape are you in down there?
I am. I'm down here doing a dolphin-assisted therapy program, taking care of my body.
And what's that consist of?
So we start in the morning and we're on tables, and there's 12 people here, and we each have 2 therapists to work with us, and then in the afternoon, we hop on a boat and go to a dolphin facility, and we get in the water with the dolphins and continue the therapy. And the dolphins will come up and actually participate and assist. And so it's really quite amazing.
What's it do for you?
So the therapy, what it does is it starts to remove layers of trauma off the body. And what the dolphins do is they come and assist, and they communicate through sonar. And that's the same technology that our athletics trainers would use, and so it's an energy that goes through tissue and clears blockages and trauma out of the body.
How much pain do you still have from your football days?
I haven't had much pain. I stay active. I play softball. I play flag football, but I had a bad neck injury my last year in Miami, and so I'm starting to feel a little bit of tingling and numbness down my left arm.
When you hear athletes talk about, in particular football players, that they want to get rid of the pain pills and that medicinal marijuana is the route to go. How far away or how close are we? Do you think that the NFL would adopt something like that?
I think we're pretty far. I think the NFL is probably gonna wait until there's more research done, and I think that's prudent on their part. But I also don't think it's that simple. I think with marijuana, at least the way I used it, it wasn't strictly for pain. It was to just take care of myself. And so I'd use, after I got home from practice, just let go of the stress of the day, get on my yoga mat, do some stretches, and just stay in contact with my body. But as far as, because anything you take to numb yourself is not in the long run, it's not a good idea. But anything you take to help yourself take care of yourself is the way to go.
Well, do you think marijuana is beneficial then for pain?
I think it definitely can be if it's used consciously, for sure.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, so I think, so the fact that it's been illegal, it's been something that's been underground, and so people use it, and the stereotype is they use it to get high and sit on the couch and watch television. And I think if you're really okay, like I had an ankle injury, and I would come home and I'd smoke, and then I'd sit there and I'd work on my ankle. And after smoking, I was more sensitive to energy going on down there, and I could manipulate it and get some good work done. But I think if you're just smoking to zone out and forget about your worries, that's just going to create more pain down the road.
What do you think the percentage was of players that you played with who smoked?
Well, I think from what I found, I played on 3 different teams, and I found that it varied. It varied on each team. I think each team has a culture. So I'd say some teams it's probably as low as 15%, and some teams it might be as high as 40 to 50%.
Talking to Ricky Williams, former NFL All-Pro running back, Heisman Trophy winner, joining us Dan Patrick Show. What would you say to Commissioner Goodell if he asked you about marijuana use? Good, bad, ugly?
Well, I'd say, if you look at all the issues that NFL is dealing with concussions and players suffering after football, and you want to look at what you could do, I think you should give players, all reasonable means to take care of themselves while they're playing. And I wouldn't suggest that he necessarily suggests to doctors that they prescribe it, but take it off the ban list and have a program where if players are getting in trouble, then you drug test them. And if you find that there's drugs involved, then get them some help. But don't punish players who are doing well on the field, doing well, representing the NFL, but fail the drug test.
I know you failed a drug test, but you took a lot of drug tests in your career. How did you somehow elude the long arm of the law?
Well, sometimes I eluded by not using, and sometimes I eluded by just tapering. You know, I realized that you could take 3 puffs of a joint and pass the test the next day. So it was moderation, just being intelligent about it.
Did you ever change urine samples, or because I know drug testing is different now, where the Olympics they're watching you take your urine test. Did you have that?
Well, no. Well, the NFL is probably the most stringent drug testing program in the world. So I mean, you walk in, the guy walks into the bathroom, he says, "Pants to your knees," and he watches you. He watches you pee.
What are you searching for these days?
The answer to life, the key to life. I'm searching for truth, and that's an eternal search. You know, I think because truth is something that's always evolving. You know, once you learn something, you realize that there's more beyond that.
What would you tell the 20-year-old Ricky Williams now?
I would tell him, you know, when you're done with college, I know there's all this pressure and you want to go to the NFL and make a lot of money, but take a year off, get to know yourself. The NFL is not going anywhere, and really get to know yourself before you jump into this thing.
How often do you get high now?
Well, obviously, I don't necessarily use that terminology, but I use cannabis. It depends. I mean, sometimes I'll go weeks without, and sometimes I'll use every day. It just depends what's going on, and if I feel it's gonna help.
And you did a Sports Illustrated film. It's Ricky Williams Takes the High Road. You can also read the story on si.com/Ricky. What is the message in this Sports Illustrated film that you want out?
Well, it's a message that I want out, and wherever I walk down the street, is that life is better when you have the courage to be yourself. You know, I just see it. I just track my life, and I say whenever I've tried to fit in and do what's quote unquote right, it never worked. Whenever I decided to have the courage to be myself, things always worked out better than I could have imagined.
Where's your Heisman?
My Heisman is in the office at the house.
How often do you look at it? What do you think when you look at it?
It's in Austin, and I spend so much time around the football office. It's just it represents what I accomplished when I was in college, and I think when I'm going through tough times, I look at it and I realize that inside of me I have a champion, and it motivates me to keep on going and whatever I'm doing to reach the top.
Would you let your kids play football?
Yeah, my son plays football. He goes to a small private school, so I'm not too worried yet. And he's not as passionate about it or as good as I am, so I'm convinced that once he's done with high school, he's not going to have any desire to play anymore, and I'm good with that. I think football, you know, up to a certain level, teaches men courage, teaches teamwork, teaches accountability, teaches a lot of positive traits. And as long as you don't go too far and start banging your head around too much, I think it's actually good for young boys. You
fear that he could actually get good as a dad? Then he would continue to play?
No, you know, when I was a kid, I loved to play, but I was in such a difficult upbringing. There was this hunger and this need to get rid of stress and anger, so it was a great channel. But this kid's got a pretty good life, and I think you have to have a bit of an edge or something to prove to go down that road.
When did you lose that chip on your shoulder or that anger?
I still have it. It's just redirected towards moving forward, not toward dealing with the past.
Are you the first draft pick in flag football?
I am, and I'm not sure if it's because of my history of being a Heisman Trophy winner, or if it's because it's just cool to have Ricky Williams on your team.
Hey, it's great to talk to you, Ricky.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll bring the show down there. Is that okay? We'll just kind of hang out.
Come on. Come hang out with the Dolphins.
Well, you go from the Miami Dolphins to the real Dolphins.
Yeah, I figured I represented the Dolphins well. Now it's their turn to take care of me.
Ricky, thank you. We appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Ricky Williams takes the high road. You can read the whole story on si.com/Ricky. He's an interesting dude. The fact that he's with the Dolphins and their sonar helps, that's what trainers use. He's interesting. Never a dull moment with him.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.